Please welcome back Christian Petzold.
We came from a restaurant. I have 2 glasses of wine, and I hope my English works. It was a Chardonnay very well. And I stand there 5 minutes before the end of the screening, and I saw Nina there at the beach, yeah? And I remember something. Now this was 13 years ago, and it was like when the little girl is on this raft, is vanishing. She's standing there, and I talked to her. I remember we have seen The Deer Hunter for this movie. I don't know why. The movie by.
You saw it for your new movie too.
Yeah, well, I love this movie, I must say. Yeah, and therefore she's playing this Chopin nocturne here. It's also in the Deer Hunter, and there's a scene in the Deer Hunter where Christopher Walken is in a GI hospital in Saigon, and he's so traumatized by the war and about this self-killing scene there that he can't speak, and he put his hand in front of his mouth and starts crying, yeah? A dry cry. I said to Nina, when this girl is vanishing, you're standing at the beach. We can do it a little bit like Christopher Walken, the Deer Hunter, what we have seen together. And when I see it, she do it just for 1 second, and then she said, "No, I don't want to do it like him." Yeah? And so in this moment, she's really Barbara. Yeah, she's against the director, against me, the Chardonnay boy, yeah, and his ideas. And I like to see it. She make it just for 1 second, and then it's gone. And this I like, yeah, to see that. Yeah.
I don't think I even need to ask any questions, but I do have a few.
You have also 2 Chardonnays, I see, in the restaurant.
No, I know you planted all the questions already. But no, I did want to ask. Actually, we didn't talk about this, but I think one reason this film is pivotal in your filmography is because it's your first period film. Before, all your films had been set in contemporary Germany, and not only is it your first period film, but you made this, and then you made Phoenix, and then you made Transit. So there's a shift in terms of thinking about the present in relation to the past, depicting the past. So I'm just wondering how you approach this as your first film that was set in a different time.
I think the first thing was a reaction to German films, German period films in this time. We have an Oscar-nominated film about German Democratic Republic.
Lives of Others.
Yeah, Life of Others. And I don't like this movie. Yeah? And my wife always said, don't say bad things about other movies, but after 2 glasses of Chardonnay, everything's yeah, so.
It's okay. It's a safe space.
Yeah, I don't like. There was a scene I don't like when I was on my bicycle in Berlin and in front of a cinema in the morning, 11 o'clock. 3 or 4 school classes with their teachers have to see this movie, this Stasi movie, and I think it's not good. This movie it doesn't. From the first moment, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. And it's an educational movie. And I think my parents are refugees from the German Democratic Republic. They left the communistic world because my father likes American cars, and my mother likes Elvis Presley. And this, I think these are really good reasons to leave a communistic. Yeah. But when they came to the capitalistic West, they are not happy. Yeah? And my father lost his job at the beginning of the 70s, and he was more than 3.5 years unemployed. And he was very religious before, and from this moment on, after half a year of unemployment, We don't have to pray anymore at home. Yeah? And my father said after 1 year of unemployment, and he was getting really depressed. Yeah? He said, we go back to the German Democratic Republic. There's always work and we find structure. This was the thing he's looking for. And in this time, we visited often the German Democratic Republic, always in the summer. It was so, my friends from the school in Wuppertal, in Düsseldorf, with their parents, they went to Spain and to France and Greece, and they came back with fantastic skin, brown, tanned, and they have fresh oranges with them. And our family has to go into the German Democratic Republic. We came back. Our skin was like cheese. Yeah, it was so. Yeah, but for me, my memory of German Democratic Republic was not like in the movies, the spy who came out of the cold. It was there was love, there was desire, there was sun, and there were colors, and but the thing which depressed was not the color, it was something else. Yeah? The mistrust that nobody is talking with you often. Yeah? Everybody has a code when we are sitting together with the family there, and this is a really barbecue part of Germany. They're making barbecues there nowadays. I must say they love the USA so much in the east part. Everybody after '89, after the fall of the wall, they are buying American cars. Yeah? So they. There are so many in the east part of Germany. There are so many small villages with American names. You have Philadelphia, you have Boston there. So there is an American desire, but their skin is like cheese. Yeah. So, and I have the feeling when I saw these movies about the Stasi that this is not the story I want to tell. Yeah, and we need some more complex things. And then I read a novel by Hermann Broch from 1922, yeah, with the name Barbara. It's about a young communist doctor who is in the underground. And on the title of the book, there was a painting. It looks a little bit like Nina Hoss, and we have made 3 or 4 movies together before Barbara, 2 or 3. And I showed it to her and said, I want to make a movie about the German Democratic Republic, with you as the Dr. Barbara, who is there like in an exile. And for me, Nina Hoss is an actress who's always acting like if she is in exile. She's not, yes, so, and I like it, yeah, so I like this. There are some you have actors who are part of a society or mothers, and yeah, so, but you can't, all characters she played as a mother, you don't believe. She's an exile queen, I must say. Yeah? An exile queen and a communist exile queen. Yeah.
I think
the Chardonnay.
No, I think that describes Yella as well, the film that we're showing after this. But the other thing about these 3 films, these 3 period films that you made, I think there was a kind of, I don't know if you came up with it, this idea of the trilogy, where it was called Love in Oppressive Times or Systems. Yeah, so they're not just period films, but they're set in very specific periods of history, and they're all love stories. They're all stories about desire in some way. So can you say a little bit about love and oppression?
Yeah, I can say that. I think love in the most movies, love is against oppression. It's stronger than oppression. Yeah? But oppression defines love and changes love. Yeah? And this is something I want to think about with the actors, with the movie, with Harun Farocki. We think about what is happening to love, to seduction, to desire, yeah, to sexuality, to erotic, when there is no oppression. Yeah? Love is not innocent. Love is a language. Love is a construction. Yeah? And what is happening? And in this movie, I like it from the start that I have the feeling that the mistrust. Yeah? And you know, what's the word in counter shot? Is it right? Yeah. I'm not a big fan of shot counter-shot movies. Yes, it's almost Netflix movies are short counter-shot movies, like dialogue about the interior. So, and but in this movie, it's very interesting to see that there's someone mistrust the other, and they're watching each other, and they hear what could be there, what they mean. Is there a second identity? Is this a spy? And so you need the shot counter shot. It's a mistrust situation, but also this is a situation of seduction. Yes, of two people who wants to seduce each other. Yeah, and so sometimes you need oppression to reach a deeper love. Yeah, sometimes where everything is allowed, it's boring. Yeah, okay, let's go to bed. So like this. But when two people have to fight like them, yeah, and they have to realize and create a code. Yeah, this is freedom. Yeah? And when at the end you can hear Chick, and I love this song so much because it's sad and it's also optimistic in the same moment. And I like the sense, freedom must came like rain. I like this. It was this movie is based during the Olympic Games 1980 in Moscow. You can hear it in the radio. And the same time, there was something happened in the USA. I think it was in Texas or in the south of the USA, that there was a DJ against. He said he's against disco music because disco music is black and homosexual music. Yeah, and he said bring the disco vinyls into the stadium and we destroy them. And Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards, the two guys from Chick, are really traumatized about this. Yeah? And this song is a reaction to this. Yeah, to this traumatized, and so you have an oppressive situation in the West, and you have the oppression in the West, in the East, and they both I want to have together at the end of the movie. Yeah.
And what you were just saying about mistrust and suspicion and this mood of paranoia in the film, and I remember talking to you about this film the year it came out, and you talked a lot about just point of view, the question of who's looking and who's being looked at. And this is a film about watching and being watched. And I'm wondering if you can say a little bit about how you kind of translate these ideas into the form of the film, the camera.
6 weeks ago, I have given all my things, my working books and storyboards and everything to the film museum in Berlin. I don't want to see it again. I don't want to. I'm not this kind of narcissistic too. Yeah. So, but I want to read it once again before I get it away. And I have read the working book to Barbara, and I read 3 or 4 lines on the first page, and I read that I've written down the first what we can see from Barbara in the bus. It's like a portrait of someone, a worker or a working class on their way to their shift. Yeah? It's an objective position of the camera. The second position is also her, but from a window, and it's a surveillance position. Surveillance is surveillance.
Surveillance, yeah.
Surveillance.
Surveillance, yeah.
Surveillance.
Yeah, we got.
So, I learned today a word because we have also a discussion about Yella, negotiation. Yeah? Negotiation.
You didn't know this word?
I know this word, but I can't.
Okay.
I speak it. Negotiation, and so I have it on my laptop. And there was a program pronouncing English. Yeah? And negotiation, and I went through the hotel room, negotiation, and then I realized that the chambermaid is coming, and she thought I'm really out of control. Yeah. Negotiation, and surveillance. Yeah. For the chambermaid tomorrow, surveillance. Yeah. And so the second position of the camera is surveillance position. And from this moment on, from two positions of the camera at the beginning of the movie, with the same object, a young woman, yeah, is the whole story told. Yeah, it's, the morality of the story is told with these two positions. And this is something I always, I must say, I do my rehearsals in the morning, and 3 weeks before we are shooting, we have also rehearsals. And with these kind of actors, like Nina Hoss or Ronald Seerfeld, or later with Paula Beer, they are so intelligent that I can talk with them about camera positions. Yeah, it's not like this, I play and you do your camera work. I play it as if I'm on stage, yeah? And you find your position. No, I think actors, intelligent actors, they know where the camera is and they know why the camera there is. And when you can describe it, yeah, they know also they change their play. When she knows Nina Hoss at the beginning, when she knows that she's sitting there at the bench and smoking, and she knows where the camera is, the surveillance camera, and this camera is far away. Yeah? She knows how to play, because then you know that this object is a subject too. She knows that there is someone watching her, yeah? And that there is no innocence anymore in this oppressive system. Yeah? So she has to play something. Yeah? And this kind of play, what she's playing there, is her defense. Yeah? And the guys there said, one of the Stasi guys said, I think, a sentence like this, she knows exactly that we are watching her. Yeah? So this I like, when there is a reflection, yeah? And this reflection doesn't destroy the atmosphere. Yeah?
Is there a need to kind of distance or disassociate the film's gaze from the gaze of surveillance of the state? Or how does that work in your thinking?
There are things in this movie I like so very much. This is the surveillance of the oppressive state and my surveillance as a director. They are in relation to each other. And I like the moments when the actors do something against me and against the German Democratic Republic in the same moment. I like this. Yeah? For example, when she's meeting the guy from the West in the forest, yeah? So this actor, Mark Waschke, is very famous in Germany. He's a very good actor. Yeah? He's from the Schaubühne. And Nina Hoss and he, they were in the same class in Ernst Busch, it's like Julia here in New York, in the same class. So, and in this forest scene, yeah, when she's waiting for him, and he's bringing cigarettes and something, and they have a little bit sex, but you can't see that. I was not interested in these things. Yeah? I was more interested in the car and the guy who's coming with. Yeah, so. Yeah. So when he's running and she's running and they're kissing there and they're lying there, and on our way back, after we have realized that scene, our way back to the hotel, I was there with Nina in the car, and I said this scene was totally out of erotic. It doesn't touch me anything. Yeah? And Nina said to me, I think you want it like this. Yeah? And I said, yes, I want it like this. Yeah? Because, so many people from the West, yeah? West German capitalist guys, are going to the German Democratic Republic to fuck their women because they know they can't follow them. Yeah? So they have girlfriends there. They bring their cigarettes and nylons, yeah? Nylon, stockings and so on, and then they have a night in a hotel, and they can't follow. Even if they are pregnant, they can't do anything. Yeah? And so there was a relationship between West and East, which is an exploitation relationship. Yeah? And when I have my first Q&A with this movie 2012 after the Berlinale, yeah? there were I think half female and half male people in the audience, and all females. The most important sentence in the movie for them was the movie when he said to her, you can sleep, when you are in the West, you can sleep the whole day, you don't have to work anymore, I have enough money for the two of us. This was a horror sentence, yeah? Because she knows in this moment, she knows that the West is a prison too, another kind of prison. And nobody from the male audience doesn't understand the sentence. They said it's a fantastic sentence, and all women know this is. Yeah, so this thing between East and West is also a thing between male and female subjects. Yeah, so and this I like in this scene that this scene is not romantic in the forest. You have a fantastic forest. You have very beautiful people, handsome people. You have fantastic cigarettes and a very good Wonder Bra and so on, but it doesn't work. Something is not right. Yeah? So, and this I like. And I like that Nina doesn't want to, she's a fantastic actress. She knows that this scene is not a very important scene for her. Yeah? It's something, she's playing someone. Yeah? And in the night in the hotel later, she knows that she's playing when this other girl is coming, and this other girl is she says the truth. I'm fucking, I'm receiving jewels or ring or something like that, and perhaps he married me, but I don't believe this. It's just I'm playing a prostitute. Yeah, so, and so so you have on the borderline between East and West, between capitalism and communism, oppression and male and female, that there are so many borderlines in this movie. This individuals have to cross, and this is something I like. It's a very simple story. I'll say it's very simple, but it's complicated in the same moment.
So, on the subject of looking and being looked at, what are we looking at? Who are we identifying with? I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about, I think, one of the great scenes in the film, which is the scene where they're looking at the Rembrandt painting and talking about it. This actually comes from a book, The Rings of Saturn, I think, by Sebald, where there's this analysis of the painting as well, and I think what is said in that scene is similar to what is in that book. So.
In my life, many things are coming from books. I have a friend in Vienna, Alexander Horvath. He has made filmmakers. He divided in 3 sections: painters, musicians, writers. And I always want to be part of the musicians. And he said, "No, you're a writer." And so I'm the guy from the library. I'm always all the others make music with friends, and or are painting in France, and I'm sitting in a dirty library and reading. And I'm reading. I love reading, and also this afternoon in the hotel room, I have read for 3 hours a fantastic novel by Turgenev, Smoke, a fantastic novel, and this Sebald book I read half a year before Harun and I had written had written the script, and Harun was not a big fan of Sebald. He was not interested in him, and I read this sequence or this part of the book, and he was totally impressed because that there are scientists, doctors who are watching a book, and not watching the people. It's for him. It's a metaphor for communism, for oppressive systems, for fascism. That they see the numbers, that they see the books, the paintings, and this guy they killed because they need his organs and his anatomic details. They don't watch him, and so Rembrandt paint this dead body in some regions of the hand, and so wrong. So that we know that they don't know anything. It's a criticizing of functionaries and apparatchiks and bureaucratic monsters. And so this I found in the Sebald book. And for me, when these two people, Barbara and forgot his name. And Andre, yeah, Reiser was Andre Reiser, yeah, and the given name I've forgotten. The family name was in my head, and he's telling he opened his heart and his mind with this interpretation of this Rembrandt, yeah? And in this moment she mistrusts him totally, yeah, because he opened something, and this must be mean. Yeah? This I like so much, but in the same moment when she's leaving the room after the interpretation of him, she's a little bit like, he's giving me something, and in this moment something starts between them.
It's a seduction scene.
It's a seduction scene, and sometimes books can be the basis of a really good seduction. I think in the library. I haven't found it in reality.
Also a painting in this one, so you can be a painter, filmmaker as well.
Thank you.
I'll ask one more, and then maybe we can take an audience question or two. Just watching the trailer from Mirror Number 3 before this film, I can't help but think of the figure of your protagonist on the bicycle. And I don't know. Maybe you want to say something about modes of transportation. They're quite important in your film. I mean, cars are very important in your film. Also, I mean, Yella and Miroir also has a car connection. I think there's something about how one gets from one place to another. And I think you see, it's not just, they're quite important, these scenes, where you spend time with her, going from one place to another, actually in both films.
In my bedroom, from my wife and me, over our bed, there is a sequence by Ozu from Banshun, a movie. Banshun is the name of the movie. It's the whole movie is made inside of a studio, but there's one scene in the movie where it's a movie about a daughter and her father. They are living there like a couple, yeah? And the daughter is now 26, 27, 28 years old, and the father knows that the daughter is in love with him. Yes, she never want to leave the house, and the father knows she had to fall in love with someone. Yeah, this is the problem of and then there's a young man is coming to the house, and he falls in love with a girl, and they both make a bicycle tour to the ocean. And these sequence there are 9 positions of the camera. This is the fantastic thing about seduction and love, and you can see that in her, that the wind is in her hair and in his hair, and they have to really go by. They have to you can see their physis, yeah? And you can see the sky and the waves and the sand and the bicycle. So there is reality, yeah? For a moment, but she goes back to her father. And but this is a moment of freedom of the movie, and also the possibility of love outside of a family. Yeah? And when we have written down Barbara, I said I want to, in this oppressive system, this communistic system of the German Democratic Republic, yeah, to have a bicycle and to repair it by your own. Yeah? And go by your own with this bicycle near the sea, through the storm. Yeah? The wind is in your hair. Then for this moment, she's free. Yeah? And this was very interesting that Harun, when we are shooting Phoenix, he made this movie labor in a single shot. Yeah? And he came from Vietnam to Berlin, and to the set we have shoot Phoenix, and he has a present for Nina with him, yeah? And it was the poster of Barbara from Vietnam, and because I make it like this, that you always see Barbara from the right side to the left against the direction of reading, yeah? So because she is in opposition to the system, and in Vietnam they turn it around because they're reading from the other side. So Barbara, and she saw this poster and said, it's the wrong direction. I come from the right side, not from the left side. Yeah? So for me, it's a kind of deliberate huh? to see this bicycle. And I was so. I like to see the bicycle that in the next movies everybody has to use the bicycle. Yeah, yeah. And the DOP has really problems with the bicycle. I showed him Goodbye South Goodbye, a movie by Hu Xiaoxian, yeah? And there were fantastic
Motorbikes,
scenes.
yeah. Motorbikes there.
Motorbikes, and this is a group. It's like a dance. It's a physical freedom, yeah. And I showed it to Hans Fromm, and he said, "I don't know how to do it. They do it in Taiwan. What's the problem?" Yeah. And so now they're better than I. And as I said, Tour de France, you can see it, yeah, with the camera. And no, and so. And so in the last movie, Miroir number 3, I think he has it's like a neurotic thing with him. I don't understand this. Yeah? And therefore, I write bicycle scenes to torture him. Yeah? So, yeah.
All right, we have 5 minutes, so that's either 1 or 2 questions. Yeah, let's go there.
Hi, thank you so much for sharing about your theme. And I really like the moral complications of like that you just described, and also especially the Rembrandt scene. And I want to ask more about kind of the uncertainty within what happens. Like, for example, so the Andre guy, so like it seems on the surface that Barbara chose to be with him because it kind of is her way of escaping oppression. Is like freedom for her, but at the same time, Andre was kind of stalking her in the terms of there were moments that he knows that her socket is not working in her room, or like she has those cigarette from Western Germany, and like so like there's this uncertainty of whether she's truly escaping from surveillance by choosing to stay with him. And also like talking about transportation, like at the end with the Ralph as well, like is she saving the girl or is she putting her into more risk by putting her in that Ralph? And talking about painting, it reminds me of like the Ralph of Medusa, and how like there's like decisions that she make that she's looking for freedom, but at the same time, she's kind of like submerging within this oppressive system that she's in. And I'm wondering if you could talk more about that.
Okay, I start. You know, sometimes it's so that you don't know that you are fall in love with someone, and the other doesn't know it too, and you need a third person. Yeah. In this scene, when what you say about stalking. Yes, to feel in love is sometimes a little bit like stalking. It's on the borderline. Yeah? So you don't want to stalk, but you want to see her or him, and so. And in this scene, when they're arguing about the guy who makes the repairing of the piano, yeah? There was this third doctor. Yeah? And she looks at him, and she looks at her, and she knows, yeah, there's something happening between them. They both didn't know that, yeah? But because she knows it, we know it too. Yeah? And so sometimes you need a third guy. Yeah? Sometimes it was a tragedy for me that my mother knows when I was 15 that I fall in love with Margaret from my class, but I didn't know that. But after my mother told me, I fall in love. Yeah, so so sometimes you need someone from the outside.
We can take one more. Yeah, at the very back.
Hi, I wondered what you envisioned with the sound of the wind throughout. It was very ominous, and I guess it was to imply danger, but there was so much of it. That was my question. I liked it.
Yeah, it's so that I have a friend who is a composer for music. He's a very good one, and he makes so many music for my movies. But in this movie, there is no music. And he was very disappointed because he makes fantastic compositions with the name Barbara, and he sent it to me, and I said, I don't want to have music because this is a movie about the German Democratic Republic, and I want to hear and to see, and I want to open our senses to a country which is vanished. It's gone away for all time. Yeah? So there is no score, and therefore, because there is no music, you can hear the wind, you can hear the noises in the hospital, you can hear everything, because this German Democratic Republic was an oppressive state, and I hate it deep in my mind. But some things are really enchanted there, yeah. And it's the nature, and it's the sensibility of the people there, and so therefore we hear and see more when we don't use the music. The other Stasi movie used music 89%. Yeah.
Okay, on that note, I think, thank you, Christian.
Thank you.
Stick around for Yella if you can. Thank you.
Thanks.